So here's beautiful Sisters Beach. I'm sure people who've lived in this area for a while know it. So we're working on this side primarily in paperbark woodland, and you can see I'm going to be talking about coastal erosion and raising some questions about what do we do, what are our potential as community groups to contribute to this. So you can see there's already been erosion here. There's a picture from about 30 years ago where this peat layer is about out here. In the distance here, very similar to your situation, Frank, where we've lost about 5 metres in the last 4 or 5 years, so it seems to be becoming more progressive, including some very high storm events. I'd also like to acknowledge Woodland Council have been very supportive, and also the Penny Wetton Foundation, which helps support what we do. So what's the setting? Well, basically we're working in this paperbark woodland, which was a pretty thin strip on this side of the estuary, and over time we noticed that there was virtually no, or I noticed probably going down there for many years, virtually no recruitment of young plants. So the big old plants were still there, but we weren't seeing the young ones coming through, even though there were lots of shoots. So trying to work out that question as to why that was happening. And then the other thing was, knowing that the paperbarks are slowly falling into the estuary, I'm starting to plan for what I probably call strategic withdrawal. That is, on this side, actually getting more plants in, and in this case, utilising the peat soil, which is pretty resistant to erosion, but nevertheless, it's happening. So we have had some extreme sea surge events, a really big event in 2018 that covered this whole area. If you've been to Sisters Beach, it covered the entire car park right up to the toilets. So that's the level of inundation we're now getting, that people are saying we've never seen this before. We had a moderate event in July, which I'll show you some pictures of. So that's kind of the situation we're finding ourselves in, and we've learned a lot by just diving in over the last 2 or 3 years, planning and having a go and seeing what happens. So my bigger question is, what can we as communities contribute? We've heard the situation with Salt Creek, where you put in all these plants. That's what we've traditionally been used to, and I was involved in our group, the previous environment group, for many years, planting plants on the dune, and a lot of those plants that were there for 20 years or so are now gone because they've been undercut. So I don't have an answer, but I'm raising the question. A lot of it is going to need large scale, very expensive protection, and in those other areas, and even in those highly protected areas that property councils are going to be involved in, what's the community contribution? I think for areas like this, our community group probably can hold the line. And remember, this is a threatened community, the paperbark woodlands. There are very few of them protected. If this is happening to all these little estuarine areas along the coast, then that's a big impact on the threatened community. So this is what's happening in the foreshore at Sisters Beach. This was out about 6 or 7 metres only 2 or 3 years ago, some of you would have seen that. So the shift is on, and the climate scientists and the Coast Risk website, if you want to go and have a look at that, tells you, what's going to happen in these sort of situations. What are we trying? So one of the things we've tried is to protect the existing shoots and also new seedlings that we put in, try and get recruitment happening, and then around that buttressing with what we call brush matting, tying that down. The other thing that we found really useful is keeping the grass down, the exotic grass, but not removing it because it helps bind the soil. What we found in these areas, one of the contributing factors to the lack of recruitment is these ericifolia shoots, new shoots, are very wimpy. They grow very slowly. They can't withstand any sort of shade. So taking away that grass layer, keeping it short, and opening these areas up a little bit more, and in addition to that, putting in new seedlings are sort of two things we're trying. Some of our results so far: brush matting and sturdy tree guards work even in pretty what do you call high level water flow, so the water can be surging through, and the brush matting sorry, I'll just go back. The brush matting helps slow that down, and the tree guards help prevent those plants from being knocked over. The big problem we've got is not so much the water flow, it's the debris that's brought in with it. And the event we just had in July, late July, brought a huge amount of that in and knocked these guards completely off, snapped them off at the base. So right at the front edge, we've got this question about, well, what do we do protecting from debris at the front line? So that's our next question. I like to put up a big metal guard, but I don't think I'm going to be allowed to do that. Other steps, next steps, this is the area we're working on. We've just removed the old playground equipment from this area behind us. We have a plan we put to council. We've now got to go ahead to actually revegetate this area, and we're looking to put in a kind of nature trail in there. It'll be protection, but we'll also be introducing people to the plants they might put in their garden from their local nature, which is this beautiful nature of Sisters Creek. So that's me. Happy to talk about this afterwards. Any ideas you've got about coastal protection from communities, I'd like to hear.
Thank you so much, Colin. I think, we are facing so much difficulty with coastal erosion at the moment, and particularly with the severe weather and rains that we've been having recently. I know a lot of people are experiencing recent plantings being destroyed, and a lot of time and effort essentially washing away. So it's great to hear about innovative new ideas and everything that you're coming up with in that sphere.